We have before us the balanced budget amendment, about which many of us have expressed serious reservations, the effects of which are in both the short and the long term cannot be predicted with any degree of certainty. We'll hear a good deal of hyperbole on this amendment, promises by those that it's going to cure all, and promises by those, if it passes, that we're going to go to hell in the handbasket and rapidly, and all our liberties will be taken from us. I hope we kind of keep our eye on the ball here and at least have an open mind to the prospect that we can make this amendment better and still have an amendment. I'm sure someone has looked out over the next 15 years and concluded if we stay on the track, even the one predicted by the President of the United States, that we will be providing for an increasingly larger share of every tax dollar just to go to reduce interest on the debt. And to me, that's the driving force behind this amendment. When I introduced the budget freeze years ago, the liberals in my party said, it's an awful thing you're doing, Joe. You are all the programs we care about. You're freezing them. Money for the blind, the disabled, education, and so on. And my argument then is one I make now, which is the strongest, most compelling reason to be for this amendment or an amendment. And that is that if we don't do that, all the things I care most about are going to be gone. I mean, whatever happened to that old conservative discipline about paying for what you spend? I'm up for re-election this year, and I'm going to remind everybody what I did at home, which is going to cost me politically. When I argued that we should freeze federal spending, I meant Social Security as well. I meant Medicare and Medicaid. I meant veterans benefits. I meant every single solitary thing in the government. And I not only tried it once, I tried it twice, I tried it a third time, and I tried it a fourth time. Somebody has to tell me in here how we're going to do this hard work without dealing with any of those sacred cows.
Welcome to the JB Show. My name is James Fauntleroy, your host. It is so good to see you all here on Revolutionary Blackout Network. Just to give a warm welcome to you all and remind you that the JB Show streams every single Sunday at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And you can catch me on RBN Live on Tuesdays at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time and the Sabby and JB Show on Thursdays at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Please make sure to give this video a like if you can to help us beat the algorithm. Also, if you are not subscribed to RBN, why? Please make sure, take that gorgeous thumb and hit the subscribe button. Also, if you can, please hit the notification bell as well as sign up to the RBN newsletter as well, so that we can notify you whenever we do go live. It's on our Substack. So good to see everybody here today. I typically start off with a little song and dance, but I was like, you know what? Let's get deep into this and let's talk about this. But first, before I get into that, I just want to make sure that I say hello to everybody who's in the chat. And yes, by the way, I also have my Hold on, let me get a sip real quick. I'm going to start with people in Rockfin. Anybody watching in Rockfin in the chat? Not yet? Okay. All right. So we have Harry is in the chat saying, I assume you're talking about the fact that Jim Crow Joe raised Medicare premiums and that he appointed someone who wants to privatize Social Security. You're ruining the surprise, Harry. Harry, shh. Don't say it so loud. Notori is in the chat saying, so many people are going to be hurt. So freaking disgusting. I am so terrified for the disabled and elderly. So am I, also as somebody who's disabled and who has a mother that's elderly. Yes. All right. Candles Boat 504 says, oh no, I'm disabled. I've been homeless for nearly a year now. Damn. Now this. Yeah. I'm sorry. I have to bring this news to you, but you know, Candles vote also continues. I hear in Canada they have increasing problem with poor disabled people signing up for euthanasia. Fuck. Of course, they're tail tailing about not allowing euthanasia instead of allowing poverty. Tallying, is that what you meant to say? Unfortunately, yeah, there's a lot of people doing that. Carlos Pena is also in the chat. Says Jim Crow Joe is the worst president yet. Jim Crow Joe is very busy destroying and stripping us of every single right we thought we had. You, you said that right. We thought. We thought. Thank you so much for that. Holly Horn is in the chat too. Yes, this is also deeply concerning, Holly. And he did. Biden did say everything is on the table. And Holly says Social Security used to be the third rail. Not anymore. In fact, it is something that far right wingers like Biden have been itching to do for years. And we're going to get into that in a minute. Harry says, James, unfortunately, Social Security and Medicare are weak as fuck already, even though they are the only universal government programs we have. That is why we need Medicare for all and to expand Social Security. I agree. I think that's in the right direction. I think we need a nationalized healthcare system further than Medicare for all. You probably agree with me on that too. And as far as expanding Social Security, I say why not have Social Security for all? Take away the means testing and just give it to everybody, along with the nice federal jobs guarantee on top of it. But that's just me. Lady Alex is in the chat. So good to see you as well. Franny French. Good to see you here as well. We have Trisha in the chat saying it should be free to become a doctor and free to see one. I agree. I don't think doctors should be saddled with tons of debt. I think that doctors, not just doctors, but also nurse practitioners, nurses, techs, and the like, should not have to pay for their education. I think it should be subsidized by the government and given to them so that they can begin the work of taking care of everyone in the nation. So, yeah. Terry Connolly is here in the chat. So good to see you. Oh man, that caffeine's kicking in. Oh, here we go. All right. Uh, Joe Biden puts the E in evil. Yes, yes. Sarina is in the chat saying, howdy, howdy are you? All right. Baba Yaga, Forest Dweller says, parties hiya. Where is the man of the hour? Thank you so much, Baba. So good to see you. Eric Gray is also here in the chat. He says, what's good, everybody? As usual, this is a very important topic that you will never get on any mainstream news source. Thank you so much. This is why we tell you guys to also make sure that you are subscribed and make sure also click that like button. And if you guys can, share it on social media because the algorithm is really working against us. So Angela Sangster, hey Angela, so good to see you. Where Pilgrim is also up in the chat as well. All right, we have Gene saying rainy Sunday here today, thunder and lightning. It is beautiful to watch out over the ocean. Ooh, that is gorgeous, gorgeous. Angela says, my youngest daughter is disabled and lives in a group home and on supplemental security income and Medicaid. All of this terrifies me because she and so many others are in desperate need of these services. Damn, Angela. I feel you. I feel you, Angela. Oh my gosh. Yeah. Whew. Lawrence Johnson, I feel you too. Yeah. Same thing. CBC voters, so good to see you. Happy Sunday to you, CBC voter. All right, we got Holly Horn here. All right. So good to see you. All right. We have a non-user says money for war, but not the poor. Yep. To quote the great Tupac Shakur. Lawrence Johnson's in the house says, "Ha! The liberals in my party. Thanks, Joe, for revealing that you are not one." Where Pilgrim says, I used to have a cat that would hide behind a washing machine whenever he heard thunder. Lightning and the thunder. All right. So who else do we have in the chat that I haven't got to see? Hello. Yes, yes, yes. I know. I'm getting it. I'm getting it right now. Get it right, get it tight. You know what I'm saying? Deep Space Hippie says, born with oh man, born with cerebral palsy. Okay, so you have CP, and basically, this is also going to deeply affect you too. I got you. Well, yeah, this is something that we all have to sincerely talk about. And to anybody who's in any spaces where there are a lot of people who are elderly or disabled, please make sure to share this with them too. Because and people who are families of people who are elderly or disabled. Everybody has somebody elderly in their family. And a lot of people have somebody disabled in their family. So make sure to share this with as many people as you possibly can, because this also needs to be shared. Uncle Warren's in the chat. Love you too, Uncle Warren. So good to see you here in the chat. Here and accounted for. Oh my goodness. Oh, there's a lot of people. There's a lot of people watching. All for me, it's all for you. You say you want it. Wow. Okay. Let me see. Giovanni says, good afternoon, comrade. Good afternoon to you as well. All right. We have Tim in the house saying JB in the house. Yes, I'm in the house. Trisha is in the house saying, I guess what up, I guess? Mark saying 40 billion for the country that starts with a U that runs for propane. Are you asking that you didn't know that? If you didn't, then I can bring you up to speed. Yes, the government actually approved over $40 billion to go to that country to really give more than weapons and aid to Nazis that are actually fighting in the Donbass region over there. So yes, yes, yes. But as far as healthcare and housing for us, no, 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 nothing, no, nothing. Yeah. So if you're now outraged about this, I'm so glad that you're outraged about this, because not too many people are, and you're one of the unicorns. So welcome to RBN. So nice to have you. All right. Let me see who else is in here. Let me see. The D. There's a wash off tattoo. I'm not gonna say what I thought I was gonna say. All right. Thank you so much. Actually, by the way, this mug, now that you brought it up, it says kind people are my kind of people. Wait, so that I'm trying to keep from the glare, but whatever. Okay, so the thing about this is that ADC, he's part of the People's Voice Network. He actually has a merch. Um, he has a merch store where he actually was raising proceeds from it to go to me for mutual aid, which I deeply appreciate. And so that's what this is coming from. So he has this, and I also have the shirt, which is really nicely made. It's very soft. And then also this mug too. So that's where that comes from. Thank you so much, by the way. So shout out to ADC. Thank you so much. All right. So who else is in the chat? Who else is in the chat before I get started? Say it ain't so, Joe. Say it ain't so. Henry says, wait a second. I thought Trump put in people to dismantle government. Say it ain't so, Joe. No, well, no. He's the one that's doing it. Super Patriot says, wow, absolutely. Let me see. The conversation of Roe being overturned cannot exclude disabled and trans folks. They're also going to be affected by this as well. You're absolutely right, because things happen to those of us that are disabled, and maybe some of us, either it would be dangerous to have a kid, or it would be, you know, or yeah, or the inability to take care of a child, things like that. So and as assault, I have to kind of shield my language a little bit. Also happens with disabled people, right? So therefore, you know, they may need these services too, right? Or things like ectopic pregnancies happen, right? So, which threatens the life of the person that's pregnant. So we definitely, I appreciate you bring that out, Giovanni. Much appreciated. Bill says Bernie and 9 others have introduced a bill that will remove the 147,000 Social Security tax cap and shore up Social Security for at least 75 years. It also needs to be expanded to cover eyes and teeth. Thank you so much. And yes, George, neoliberal austerity is definitely genocide. A kid says, "What's up, JB? Please notice Joe Biden main argument to be fiscal conservative was how to pay for any expenditures. Yet he never mentioned how to pay for the 53 billion in the war in the country that starts with a U that rhymes with propane." You're absolutely right. Might I remind you? Let's go back. Wait. Let's jump in our DeLorean and let's go back to March of 2020. Okay? Back in March of 2020, something happened. What happened was the bottom fell out in the markets. When the bottom fell out in the markets, the rich folks were panicking because they don't like to lose money at all. So, because the bottom fell out on the market, because people literally had to stay home, because we had a raging pandemic going on, what the markets what the people who basically had their money in the markets did, they came to the government, aka their servants, and said, dump money into the markets to stop the bleeding and just do it for us. That's all. So their servants, the politicians, obliged. Then they approved of over 4 trillion with the T. T as in Tom. T as in taint. $4 trillion to shore up the markets. They dumped that and they approved of it within a couple of days. $4 trillion. And then people want to talk about the solvency of Social Security. MMT, anybody? Thank you, A Kid. I appreciate that. Brandy Weaver is also in the chat. Hey, Brandy Weaver, so good to see you. Ivan says Puerto Rico needs independence. We need a colony. We were a colony for Spain for 400 years, and now we're nearing 150 years colony of the U.S. I would like to see RBN coverage of Puerto Rico native independence movement. Now, Ivan, and I can say confidently for all of us at RBN that we are for whatever the indigenous people of Puerto Rico wants to do. If that includes independence, then that includes independence. Because truth be told, y'all actually went from being under one empire to under another empire. And that is not fair. That is not just. And so uh, what the United States has done to Puerto Rico is asinine. It is terrible. And it is a part of the imperialism that the United States continuously does down to this day. So, just to give you a little scope of how we feel, we are an anti imperialist in this network. And so, that is something that I honestly would like to actually have a conversation about. Let me see. Are you following me on Twitter? If you're following me on Twitter, tag me. Just tag me on Twitter, and then we'll talk. We can DM each other. Um, there's a lot of people talking. There's a lot of people in the chat today. But one thing I want to get to, I really want to get to this story, and to anybody who I may have missed in the introduction, my apologies. But I want to make sure I get to you guys as well. Thank you for the super sticker, Reality Revolution. So good to see you as well. Thank you so much for that. I appreciate it. Much appreciate it. Yeah. Oh, yeah. That will be an interesting panel to have, definitely. But so Medicare and Medicaid. A lot of times, there's not a lot of people who like. How many people do you know that has Medicare and Medicaid? Some people know a couple people. Well, you're actually talking to one right now. I have Medicare, right? And I'm disabled, and I also have Social Security disability. So you're talking to somebody that's actually under the program, and you're talking to somebody that actually is a beneficiary of Social Security. Okay. So one of the things that, as far as Joe Biden, as in the outset of this stream, is that he wanted to cut Social Security, Medicare, and Medicaid. Also, I'm also a Medicaid recipient too. We're broke, but the thing is they're always saying that they want to cut it to save money in the government. Now, as somebody that is trying to read up, though I kind of went lax on that, I need to pick up the book again on modern monetary theory. You know that that the government basically creates what it spends, and then they tax it back, for the benefit of keeping the money to have its value, also to create goods and services that keep an economy going. But anyways, so the whole thing about wanting to cut taxes and things like that, cut entitlements for Social Security and Medicare has been something that a lot of conservatives have been arguing about for decades. With that being said, the whole idea of cutting it is stupid, because even if you go by the argument of taxing, using the tax money to bring in revenue so that we can actually have money for the government, whatever the fuck that means. Even if you go by that argument, the priorities in place are idiotic, because the government literally spends billions on war. Like, look, if you guys really are so concerned with the solvency of Medicare and with Social Security, you could slash the military budget. You could take away oil subsidies. You could take away subsidies to Big Pharma. You could take subsidies away from all these different entities that basically are parasitic to our economy. And yet you don't. You decided to extend the Bush tax cuts. Thanks, Obama. He decided to extend the Bush tax cuts, which, according to you, you need taxes in order to fund the government, allegedly, according to y'all. So guess what? Then y'all need to end the Bush tax cuts and raise those taxes back up. Number one. Number two, you also need to take away the Trump tax cuts and raise the taxes back up again. If you guys want to do it, put the tax rate back up to around 90%, like we did back in the 1950s. Go ahead, do it. If that's the case, if that's how the government actually works, where all the money comes in through taxes and then you do it that way, okay, fine. Then cut it off. Now, if you couple that with MMT, then you finally realize that they can just pull that shit out of their ass. Now, there is worries about things like inflation, things like that, which actually do happen. But the thing is that it's not as big of an issue as people make it out to be within government. So, with that being said, we can have nice things in this government. We can have all these things that we need, and we don't need the super rich to provide for it. We don't need the super rich to be taxed for it. In fact, we don't need the super rich at all. They could be taxed out of being super rich because that is way too much power for them to have in the first place. So I'm going to share my screen really quick, and I'm going to show the reasons why I titled this stream the way I did. And I'm actually borrowing from a phrase that Nick of RBN actually said. He said that Joe Biden is literally sanctioning us. And that's true. Absolutely. This is from the Lever News. Now, I know that David Sirota is, for the most part, just in, he's basically a vote blue Democratic guy. But I'm going to be honest with you, this is actually a very good article. And I got to give credit where credit is due. So the title of this is Biden taps anti-Social Security ideologue to oversee program. Now, let me ask y'all something really quick. If you guys can remember, let's go back to back to the last administration, to the Trump administration. Okay, remember when Trump used to take people who were anti that particular government program and then put them as heads over that particular government program? Like, for instance, Betsy DeVos was anti-public education, and he put her as the Secretary of Education. Why? So they can dismantle it, make it work poorly, so then the right-wingers like Biden, like McConnell, and all the like can go, see, it doesn't work. See what happens when government is over something? It just doesn't work. So now we have to privatize it because it doesn't work. This is the equivalent of wanting to take a drive in a car to a specific destination, and the person said, well, the car's never going to make it. The car's just not going to make it. But then you put that person in the driver's seat, and that person stops at this pit stop, stops at that pit stop, doesn't stop to get gas, intentionally drives over hazardous things that are in the road so that it gives you a flat tire. And there's seriously, it's sabotage. It's sabotage. That's what all it is. Every single point in time. Now, remember when people like me had said that Joe Biden and Donald Trump are two sides of the same coin, right? Trump did it with many of the different programs in the government. Guess what Biden's doing? Right here, folks. Right here. Right here. Guess what? He is literally putting somebody over the government that actually wants to dismantle that particular thing that he is head over. Why are we hiring an arsonist to be the firefighter? Because he actually wants to burn the shit down. Now, let's enlarge and go back into the article. So, the subtitle says Biden nominated Andrew Biggs, a think tank denizen with a history of slamming Social Security, to oversee government retirement benefits for 66 million Americans. It starts last month. President Joe Biden nominated longtime advocate of Social Security privatization and benefit cuts to a key board overseeing the Social Security system. This moves as Republicans get ready to push cuts to Social Security and Medicare if they end up winning control of Congress during November's midterms, as expected. By the way, just to let all y'all know, you know, hear me now, quote me later, but guess what? There's going to be a red wave coming, and guess what? Even though Joe Biden will still be the president in 2023, he is going to have a Republican Senate and a Republican House, and it is going to be a significant majority, and they are going to push to make cuts. And this will be the end of the rotating villain, because now they can take that rotating villain from being from Kristen Sinema and Joe Manchin, without mentioning all the other Democrats that are actually bullshit on this too. And then they can transfer that guilt over to Republicans. And then when Joe Manchin and Kristen Sinema are now running again, then they can say, well, you need to reelect Joe Manchin and Kristen Sinema because they had to fight against Republicans, even though they were the obstructionists when they had a Democratic majority. Peep the game, folks. Peep the game. Because it's going to happen. Because here's what we say: the Democrats work in league with Republicans. This is all part of the grift. Beat the game. Now, let's keep going. So development suggests that there could soon be a coordinated push in Washington to cut the Social Security program, which provides retirement, disability, and survivor benefits to 66 million Americans. On May 13th, Biden chose to nominate Andrew Biggs, a fellow at the right-wing American Enterprise Institute think tank, for a Republican seat on the bipartisan Social Security Advisory Board, which was created in 1994 during the Clinton administration, by the way, to consult the president and Congress about the Social Security system. For years, Biggs has been a vocal critic of expanded Social Security and workers' rights to a secure, stable retirement free from the vagaries of the stock market. He has dismissed the retirement crisis as a non-issue, and as recently as 2020 blamed problems with the Social Security system on older Americans' game of chicken. Fuck this guy. And 2 decades ago, Biggs worked on a Bush administration commission that pushed privatized Social Security. Here's my question. If Joe Biden is a Democrat, why did he get a Republican to head the Social Security Administration? If you really think that Joe Biden is out here trying to restore the soul of America, well, he's doing a bang up job. That's like the fire chief is an arsonist, and then that fire chief that's also an arsonist also hires more arsonists to be firefighters in the fire department. Do you really think that anybody's going to be putting out any fires? Hell no. 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 Let us continue on this grift that we see. All right. In response to the lever, Biden suggested he no longer favors privatizing Social Security Instead, he sees now that he believes the nation's Social Security like program should be more focused on guaranteeing poverty and old age, while middle and high income individuals take on a greater responsibility for saving for retirement on their own, such as the government establishing universal retirement savings account for every worker. That sounds to me like means testing. Now, folks, to the family in the chat, let's go back in our minds to the argument about means testing and why means testing is a bad idea. Every single time you have something that's means tested, then people are going to want to cut it left and right because you have people who have more money that see no need for it. Might I remind you guys of welfare? That being said, somebody like Joe Biden trying to make it into a means tested thing. Well, it's kind of sort of means tested now, but making it even more means tested, outside the purview of people who are elderly or disabled. Now you're basically weakening it. It's death by 1,000 cuts. You're not going to take one big knife and slash it. You're going to take a little dagger, a little knife, and keep pricking, pricking, pricking until it slowly just dies out, until the light fades from its eyes. And that's exactly what they're trying to do. Establishing such savings accounts will be a solution in search of a problem. Social Security is incredibly successful at delivering retirement benefits, and raising taxes on the wealthy would be a straightforward way to expand the program. Alternatively, creating retirement accounts invested in the stock market would involve much more unwieldy and risky expansion of government programs. As a sample of Biggs' writings on Social Security over the years shows that he hand waved away retirement insecurity for millions of Americans, saying that only 23% of seniors will have retirement incomes equal to or less than 75% of their average pre retirement earnings. Was concerned by Social Security taxes being raised on upper middle class Americans making as little as $140,000 a year, even though such tax hike would massively increase long term Social Security funding. By the way, just to let you guys know, did you know that as far as the Social Security tax on Americans, they're only taxed up to $147,000 a year. So anything above your yearly income of $147,000, you do not get taxed on Social Security at all. So the super rich, hell, even upper middle class people don't get taxed above 147,000. So that $1 million, so give or take around $800,000 of it, around a little over that, does not get taxed for Social Security at all. Meaning the super rich are basically evading Social Security. Who pays for Social Security? Us. Well, it's federal dollars, but people who get taxed for it, right? Am I still live? Just to let you guys just checking, because people said in chat that I was freezing. Am I still frozen? How many fingers am I holding up? Mm, good tea. But yeah, Ratfink says on Rockfin, Social Security is one of the most efficient programs in usage. I think overhead costs are roughly 5%. By contrast, military expenditures run at huge losses. Thank you, Ratfink, for that. You see, as well as Lady Alex says, we go round and round with these discussions, and I realize the importance. But in order to have the real changes we need, the system must be destroyed. And I am done complaining about raging and have spent a lifetime fighting. Thank you so much for that. Ratfink also says the ruling class is literally killing off the workers. Simple as that. Question is, will we go gentle into that good night of the gas chambers? Thank you so much for that as well. All right. So, yeah, that's basically what Biden is doing. So, privatization, or at least the cutting of Social Security, would mean the cutting of benefits for people like myself, right? Actually, you know what? Let me Google something really quick. The average that works. Let me see. Okay. So the average benefit amount, hang on. I'm going to share my screen so you guys can see this, but I want to make sure I enlarge it. Okay. Let's do it a little bit bigger. All right. And okay. Let me share my screen really quick just so you guys can see what's what, so that people know like what we're dealing with here. This is the average Social Security benefit amount, okay? So over almost 66 million people, right? The average benefit amount is $1,538.14. That is the average amount per month that people get on Social Security. Social Security, whether it be disability or whether it be disability. Now, let's do a little math. So, as far as that's concerned, so let's round it to $1,550. Let's round up just a little bit. $1,550, right? So $1,550, and we're going to divide it by 160. Why are we dividing it by 160? We have 40 hours in a work week, a typical work week. So 4 weeks in a month, 40, 80, I'm sorry, 40, 80, 120, 160, right? So 160. So divided by 160, right? That equals down to $9.68 per hour, right? $9.68 per hour. Hang on. So with that being said, with the amount of people, amount of price gouging, because I'm trying not to use that word inflation. It's bullshit. It's price gouging. With the amount of price gouging that we have going on right now, who do you know that can live off of $9.68 per hour at full time? How many people's rent is over $1,500 a month? And this is with Social Security right now, and they're talking about cutting it. Think about your parents, your grandparents, people who are disabled right now. Think about them. How are they doing financially? And so you're thinking about, oh, well, these people, they can't work, but they're just getting free money from the government, as if we're living high on the hog. Like, have some of y'all like, what did we cover with CJ 2 weeks ago, and then CJ talked about last week? Is that I'm literally trying to raise money for housing for myself, so that me and my mom aren't put out on the fucking street. I literally have a GoFundMe just to help with daily expenses because Social Security doesn't give me enough to live on. And by the way, I get less than the average. I get less than the average. So with that being said, then what I get, what would equal out to per hour, is even less than that $9.66. It's $9.68. That's what I get. And so you have Joe Biden taking some bozo right winger who basically thinks the same way he does and wants to cut Social Security. And somehow we're supposed to move him left? How's that working out right now? How is moving Biden to the left working out for us right now? We had the argument. Well, who would you rather fight against, Donald Trump or Joe Biden? Does it make a difference? Does it really? Does it make a difference? With all we saw, what happened on Friday, right, with Roe v. Wade. Now you have the California fucking raisin, also known as Clarence Thomas, the California raisin in the robe that wants to talk about, going after gay rights now. By the way, Joe Biden helped him get into that position. Now he wants to come after my rights, as well as they already tanked, women's rights. And so now, what's going to happen? What's going to happen this November? This is the most important election of our lifetimes. You got to vote blue. What has vote blue done for you? What has vote blue done for you? Absolutely nothing. Huh. That's what. People are literally losing their rights. People are literally being thrown out into the cold. Please do not put chocolate. Please do not put sprinkles on a pile of shit and tell me it's chocolate ice cream. Stop it. And then people are like, well, who would you rather have? Would you rather have him or Joe Biden or Donald Trump? Guess what? We're already in we're already in Donald Trump's second term. We already are there. So when your grandmother or grandfather or your mother or father or your disabled family members get tossed out on the street, are you going to keep saying that we just need to vote blue? Is that what you're going to do? Doesn't look like it was the best choice to me. And please, anybody that's liberal on here and is like, oh, well, you're going to vote for Republicans? Why do you think in such binary terms? Just because, look, I'm not against Democrats because I work with Republicans. I'm against Democrats because they work with Republicans. That's what it is. They're all one party. And what do Republicans always talk about? Oh, we got to cut entitlements. We got to cut. I'm doing my best impression of Mitch McConnell. He sounds like he has shit in his mouth. Oh, well, we have to cut entitlements like Social Security, Medicare, Medicaid, and blah, 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 blah. That's what we have to do. That's what we have to do. We can't afford it. We can't afford it. And then they go into Congress all in favor of sending billions of dollars to Israel, even though they're doing apartheid to people in Palestine. Here, send them the money, send them the money. Now, Joe Biden's not done. He's not. Yep. This is what also happened. This happened before that other report. Says largest ever Medicare premium hikes. Biden just handed a huge gift to McConnell ahead of midterms. Why? Because he agrees with McConnell. They're buddies, man. They homeboys. Look at that. Look at that turtle. Look at that turtle he faced. He's smiling. He's smiling. Look at those jowls, ready to eat up every single one of the social programs that we have within this nation. Yes, I'm clowning on him. Yes, because I clown on war criminals. I clown on people who basically are working for the oppressor. Hell yeah, I'm a clown on his ass. Uh-huh. We have to cut entitlements. Because the government can't afford it, even though we want to give billions of dollars to the military industrial complex. I've seen 150-year-old turtles look better than this nigga. Sorry, my hood size coming out right now. Because I'm pissed off. I'm pissed off. Why? I'm going to tell you why. Because my Medicare premiums, yes, my Medicare premiums are going up. What does it say? It says the Biden administration quietly, by the way, announced last week that they will leave in place one of the largest ever Medicare premium hikes for the remainder of 2022, despite federal health officials' decision to restrict coverage of the expensive, potentially ineffective Alzheimer drug that drove the increase. So, what is the price hike? It says first announced by CMS last November, Part B, which is one of the things that I have, has increased 14.5% over the 2021 rate from $148.50 to $170.10 was enacted to account for the potentially massive cost of Biogen's Alzheimer drug, Aduhelm, was expected to impose on their federal health program in 2022. It says, citing the drug coverage, Bernie Sanders pushed Biden administration earlier this year to swiftly reverse the Medicare premium increase and refund seniors that had already paid the inflated price. But here's the thing, Bernie. Your friend is not going to do that. He's not. CMS insisted that carrying out a mid-year change to Medicare's 2022 premiums would be prohibitively complex and highly risky, requiring significant resources and unproven medical solutions from the very entities which manage premium collection and payment. Farmer greed and a broken bureaucracy drove up Medicare premiums. The White House could take a victory lap and tout lower rates after taking action. Nope. Death by a thousand cuts, people. Death by a thousand cuts. And the problem is that you got all these people talking about, oh well, Roe versus Wade. That's going to cause a bunch of Democrats to be able to, to have a blue wave to come in because they're going to vote Democrat because of what just happened. No, they're not. Number one, something like this happening, who's the majority of people that vote in this country? Seniors. Their Social Security gets cut by Biden, and if their Medicare premium rates go up, guess what's going to happen? Guess what's going to happen? There is a red wave coming. And the thing is that I want people to understand is that the Democrats want the red wave to come. They want the red wave to happen because they want the same things that the Republicans want. They just don't want you to know that they want it too. And with that being said, the fact that they actually want these things to happen could lead one to believe that they need to lead the Democratic Party. But if you hear people like us saying that, then you will get others who will chime in and go, well, what do you expect us to do? The Republicans are going to take over. Motherfucker, they already took over. Some of them have a D in front of their name. They already took over. What do you think is going to happen? And do you really think that just voting in more progressives is actually going to work? I honestly am getting to a point where I think we're way past that. I think we're way past that. And so a lot of people will go, well, we're going to go into the Democratic Party and we're going to, we're going to reform it. We're going to be adversarial. There's a few people who said that tried to do that. What happened to them? Oh, there was a transformation, right? There was a huge transformation. By the way, what happened to Nancy Pelosi back in 1994? Where's that Nancy Pelosi? Oh, right. When Mama Bear was just a cub, she was for the same things that we were for. But now look at her. If you don't think that that's not happening now, I have a gigantic, beautiful, shiny, diamond encrusted bridge to sell you over a top of a volcano. Hang on. What did I wait? Let me show y'all. They don't even want to raise the cap. They could, but they don't want to. Look. Oh my God. Get out of my face. God damn it. Oh, you have ad blocker. Take away the ad. No, fuck you, CNBC. Okay, it talks about them having $140,000 tax cap. Fuck CNBC. But yeah. So when you sit, and you got so many people who are talking about how we have to continue to stay within the Democratic Party, it's like all the shit that you said that was going to happen with Republicans is happening under Democrats. What difference does it make whether red or blue gets into power? Because we're still drifting to the right. Actually, it's more of a violent shove into the right. Why are we continuing to allow ourselves to be played? Why are we allowing ourselves to continuously being played? And then when somebody like Shama Sawant or those of us at RBN or people at MCSC, hell, when Jimmy Dore says it, or when people at the Indie News Network, when those of us are like, nah, screw the Democratic Party, leave them, either go third party or do direct action, then somehow we're the dum-dums, we're the idiots, because we've been watching and reading the tea leaves as it's been happening. You want to talk about what's fucked up? The fact that last presidential election during the Democratic primaries, every single person on stage during the debate said that they think that the Democratic National Committee should choose who's basically the nominee is instead of letting who has a plurality of votes actually get the nomination. And you guys still want to stay in that party? What? Like, really? Dear God, like, wake up. I want y'all to be for real, right now. Anybody who's elderly that is either getting Social Security retirement or somebody that's getting Social Security disability, I want y'all to text them, call them right now. Well, after the stream, but after the stream, and be like, so how much money do you guys get per month? And how are you surviving? Ask them, how are they surviving? We're not okay. We are not okay. And then when we were like, you know what? Nah, we're not going to vote for Biden. We're going to go in a different direction. We're going to, push for more direct action, mutual aid, and we're going to vote, third party. The next thing you know, you got people going, oh, you're going to make Republicans win. What's the matter with you? And we're like, no, a vote for blue is a vote for red. That's what we said. Guess what? Guess what? What just happened Friday? What did I just tell you about Medicare? What did I just tell you about Social Security? Do not let anybody tell you that voting either giving, because guess what? There's some people who are disaffected from voting, period. And you know what? I completely understand. Fine. Okay. Y'all just want to go out and do direct action? Cool. I'm behind you 100%. But the people who decide, if they do decide to vote, if you decide to vote either third party or independent, if anybody tries to tell you that you're wasting your vote, do not pay a goddamn attention to them. And I want you to chime back and say a vote for the Democrats is a vote for Republicans. And then you proceed to tell them all the shit that the Democrats either did or allowed to happen. Because that's exactly what happened. Bring them back to reality. Because it's stupid. This binary thinking has poisoned the minds of Americans into thinking that you only have one or two choices. That's what they wanted you guys to think. That's what they wanted y'all to think. Oh, you only have two choices. Bullshit! Bullshit! You don't have just two choices. In fact, those two choices actually one choice. And they don't want you to know about the third option, because the third option is actually your only second choice. And your third choice is, well, get your ass out in the streets. Which people are doing right now because of Roe v. Wade, and now the police are bashing their heads in. Now, what did they say? What did this motherfucker say? What did he say?
We should freeze federal spending. I meant Social Security as well. I meant Medicare and Medicaid. I meant veterans benefits. I meant every single solitary thing in the government.
That's a right winger. That's an ultra conservative, right? Might I remind you guys, there are some right wingers and more socially and considered socially democratic governments that wouldn't even think to do something like this. Yet Pencil Neck over here decides, oh, we need to cut all these things and basically say screw you to people. And he did what?
And I not only tried it once,
right?
I tried it twice, I tried it a third time, and I tried it a fourth time.
Someone that dedicated, they don't let that shit go. Somebody that dedicated doesn't let that shit go. He doesn't let it go. Anyway. So yeah. You know, the road to the Democratic Party leads to a graveyard. Basically. So why are we digging our own graves every single time we vote blue? Doesn't make a damn sense to me. If you ask me whether I wanted to vote, I'm sorry, either whether I wanted to die by fire or die by drowning, I say I don't want to die at all. Why would I choose any one of those options? It's not an option. But yet, you got people going, you got to choose die by drowning because If you die by fire, you die. Make that make sense. Yeah. So that's what's going on with the asshat chief. And yes, I'm insulting him. Yes, I'm insulting him. Because the thing is that war criminals do not deserve respect. I know some people are going to be like, well, the moment you start insulting people, then that's when you devolve the argument. You know what? The argument got devolved when we continued, these different wars that we have, these different sanctions that we have going on within the world that are literally killing thousands and thousands of people. That's when it actually devolved. It devolved when y'all decided to put somebody ahead of Social Security that actually wants to cut the shit. It devolved when you decided to allow our Medicare premiums to go up. It devolved when you said that you would veto a bill to give us single payer health care. It devolved when you decided to fund the police more instead of reallocating those funds to disenfranchised communities so that we could actually not commit crimes of opportunity or desperation and actually thrive. It devolved when you decided to continuously push the Patriot Act and these government entities that continuously spy on us as Americans day after day. It devolved when you have people who are political prisoners for actually revealing the truth about what our country has done, and then you want to pursue them and then kill them because they reveal that your shit stinks. That's what devolved. That's what's going on. It devolved because you still have kids in cages. It devolved because you still are cozying up to people like Mohammed bin Salman of Saudi Arabia and giving him weapons in order to bomb and kill people in Yemen. It devolved when you decided to give billions of dollars to the government of Israel, who, by the way, has universal health care, and then they're doing genocide against the people of Palestine and Gaza. That's when it devolved. So me calling you a dickless turd, that's not devolving. That's just me speaking truth to power. Eat shit, motherfucker. This is what it is. Whether he is the orange, red fascist or the blue, mindless blue fascist, they're still the same thing. One fash, two fash, red fash, blue fash. See, I made it rhyme. So people want to sit here and then on top of that, you got people, which blows my fucking mind, that the Democrats stood to the side while Roe v. Wade got overturned by our federal government. And then you still got people going, but I'm still going to vote blue. I'm not going to show that video because I don't want the young lady to get attacked. But she was interviewed on Status Quo. And I would have said, ma'am, they're what got you here in the first place. Why are you rewarding bad behavior? Why do we reward bad behavior? Why are we allowing our abusers to continuously strike us over and over and over? Hi, Lee. Nice to meet you. Lee says Friday, a lib blamed me for not voting for Hillary. That's why Roe was overturned. Why didn't the Dems fight harder for Merrick Garland? Is my question. I'm going to go even further. People are going to come after me for this, but fuck it. Whatever. I don't care. Why did Ruth Bader Ginsburg decide to stay when she knew she was as sick as she was, when she could have actually helped preserve and keep it up in the Supreme Court? Instead, she decided to stay there. She could have stepped down during the Obama administration, but she decided to stay. I'm just saying. Unfortunately, your mother is correct. Um, who gives a shit if she were replaced by Hillary or not? Who gives a shit? Because the thing is that whether or not it happened. And here's the thing. This is the gumption that people had. Let's go back to 2015 when Donald Trump was running for the first time. And then people were like, oh, Donald Trump's not going to make it. Donald Trump is not going to win. Oh, no, he wasn't going to win. This motherfucker decided to run to the left of people like Hillary Clinton. By the way, let's look at the, you know what? Maybe I should post that up on here too, because not a lot of people talk about the Pied Piper strategy that that Hillary Clinton basically went by in order to basically help get Trump elected. A lot of people don't really know about that, like the Pied Piper strategy. Let me get that up. Hopefully I can find it. I think I saved it in my phone. If I can find it, then I can put it up on here. I thought I had it up here. Somebody actually had somebody shared it recently, a picture of it. Actually, fuck it. Let me go on Twitter. All right, let's look. Let's see if I can find the photo. Ah! Found it. Booyah! Ganja girl, you are the MVP. All right. Booyah! All right, let me see. Ganja girl, thank you so much. You are a winner. Okay, people. Let's see. Okay, this is to the Democratic National Committee. And the reason is the 2016 GOP presidential candidates. This is dated April 7, 2015. This says, friends, this memo is intended to outline the strategy and goals of potential Hillary Clinton potential campaign. Potential Hillary Clinton presidential campaign would have regarding the 2016 Republican presidential field. Clearly, most of what is contained in this memo is work the DNC is already doing. This exercise is intended to put those ideas to paper. It says our goals and strategy. Our hope is that the goal of the potential Hillary Rodham campaign, Clinton campaign, and the DNC would be one and the same: to make whomever the Republicans nominate unpalatable to a majority of the electorate. we have outlined 3 strategies to obtain our goal. Number 1, force all Republican candidates to lock themselves into extreme conservative positions that will hurt them in a general election. 2, undermine any credibility, trust Republican presidential candidates have to make inroads to our coalition or independents. And number 3, muddy the waters on any political attack lodged against HRC. Now, let me see. Operating, I'm sorry, operationalizing the strategy. It says Pied Piper candidates, the Pied Piper strategy. There are 2 ways to approach the strategies mentioned above. The first is to use the field as a whole to inflict damage on itself, similar to what happened to Mitt Romney in 2012. The variety of candidates is a positive here, and many of the lesser known can serve as a cudgel to move the more established candidates further to the right. In this scenario, we don't want to marginalize the more extreme candidates, but make them more Pied Piper candidates who actually represent the mainstream of the Republican Party. Pied Piper candidates include, but aren't limited to, 1, Ted Cruz, me. That's what Ted Cruz sounds like to me. He's like, me. Donald Trump and Ben Carson. Ted Cruz, Donald Trump, and Ben Carson. Can you imagine a Ben Carson presidency? Can you imagine sleepy Ben Carson going, the State of the Union is exhausted. We need to be elevating the Pied Piper candidates so they are leaders of the pack and tell the press to them seriously. So, who do you blame for Donald Trump's presidency? It is Hillary Rodham Clinton, people. That's who you blame for Donald Trump. And in turn, that's who you blame for Joe Biden. And that's who you blame for whoever comes out after this. By the way, thank you to WikiLeaks for that. And to Julian Assange. Thank you. He should be freed. So, Sarita said, yeah, Ben Carson speaks in a slow-mo. Oh, man. Hey, for those of you who live in the hood, you guys know the whole, meaning of chopped and screwed. When they take a song and they chop and screw it, like, okay, I'm gonna take "Living on a Prayer" by John Bon Jovi, and I'm gonna do it in a chopped and screwed version. Oh, we're halfway there. Oh, living on a prayer. Yo, Ben Carson is a chopped and screwed person. He is just, well, what we have to do is we have to cut entitlements like HUD and Medicare and Medicaid because it's costing our government billions of dollars. Costing it millions of billions of dollars. Is that a pillow? That's Ben Carson. But yeah. So when people want to talk about, oh, well, you guys want another Donald Trump. No. Here's the thing. That's the whole reason behind somebody like that was Hillary Clinton. Also, you have to blame Obama too, because if Obama did actually what people thought he was going to do, then Donald Trump would have been laughed. He would have been laughed out the room. But people were in a position so desperate that they actually saw someone who actually ran to the left of some Democrats during the campaign, even though he actually didn't do that in his presidency. And then on top of it, he actually basically, some people saw him as just he spoke like just like the regular person, which know the fuck that is. But they believed him. They said, we have no other choice. And so that's where they went. But yeah. So that's our country, people. Hmm. I'm just reading some comments that are on Rockfin. You're welcome, Ratfink. Good to see you on Rockfin. I'm looking at some other comments on Rockfin. Zero Cam says, I'm 53, white male. I've been fighting this system for most of my life. It is impossible to get people to step up. They're still too afraid to be bothered. I am tired of talking, but the only way to change the system is to take out the top three levels. That's what history tells me anyway. It's an education period, and it's a period to reveal to everybody what's really going on so that they're more activated. Thank you for that. Any word says the white liberal differs from the white conservative only in one way. The liberal is more deceitful than a conservative. That's what, quoting Malcolm X. Thank you, any word, for that. But yeah. So wait, aggravated progressive live in the villages in Florida. Oh God, if you live in the villages, I'm so sorry. Hang on. I'm looking at something. Is the villages a hood? It depends. Economically, no. But there's a lot of elderly conservatives and liberals out there that really are just either team red or team blue. More of them are team red than anything, but yeah, yeah. I just wanted to because I saw that. I'm like, the villages, yikes. Um, so I just wanted to thank you guys for coming on. We are being sanctioned right now, and if you know of somebody that's elderly or that's disabled, that's in need of mutual aid assistance. It doesn't have to be financial. It could be, you could just give them a ride somewhere. Or like for instance, um, my mom needs her master cylinder on her car. Her car's 18 years old. She's getting her master cylinder fixed by someone in her church, and the person is actually doing the work for free. So that's mutual aid for my mom, which in turn is also mutual aid for me because, you know, my mother uses her car to get groceries, to pay bills, things like that, which also helps me, directly. So if you can work on cars, help people out that way. If you're good with computers, then help people out in that way. If you can help them get groceries, help them out that way. one of the things that Rome always talks about, and I think is absolutely pertinent that we keep in mind, is building community with your neighbors and people around you, which is something that, is deeply important for us to continue to do. Because if we don't, we're we're already fucked. It's just we're trying to mitigate, stop the bleeding, right? Oh, JB, I have a Rockfin account. What's your channel's name? JB Font. Yeah, same name as my channel. So yeah, that's my channel on same. It goes by the same name on Rockfin, Rumble, Twitch, and YouTube. So yeah. And as of right now, no, no. It's just tough because there's not a lot of time or opportunity for people to uh take it to practice and things like that. So unfortunately, I can't do it right now. But hopefully I'll get it, sometime. I know. I'm very late, but that's yeah. But yeah, I just want to thank you all for watching. I'm not going to keep you guys on for too long because this is pretty much the only subject I really want to talk about. Unless you guys had a few more questions, then I can possibly answer a few more, kind of make a little bit of a hangout stream towards the end. But I am excited for Savvy's show tonight. Um, but I also am excited for what Nick and CJ are going to talk about tomorrow. And I'm going to be having Shama Sawan on my channel this Tuesday at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So make sure to stay tuned for that. That's going to be a really great discussion, especially since the overturning of Roe v. Wade in the Supreme Court. I think this is going to be a very important conversation since you have a lot of people, particularly Democrats, that are now suddenly texting all of us about, oh, well, Roe v. Wade's on the ballot. Well, guess what? It's been on the ballot for about 50 years. Y'all just never did, not y'all, not you guys in particular, but the Democrats, they just never did anything about it. And so because of that, now we're in this mess. And they're like, well, you still got to put trust in us. No, the fuck we don't. Who said that we still have to put trust in you? People actually put trust in you, and now look where we're at. Actually, you know what? Let me put the link of my YouTube channel in here. Hang on. J. Okay. I will put it in the chat. This is. I keep forgetting to do that. My bad, everybody. Paste! All right. All right. That's the link to my channel. And. Oh, wait. You wait, hang on. Somebody said something. Hang on. Oh, thank you. To my channel or to RBN? I mean, I appreciate it nonetheless. I mean, thank you so much. Um, it definitely means a lot. It keeps the lights on, definitely, because drop a link to that Twitter post you read for DNC campaign plan. Oh, you mean to the Pied Piper strategy? I got you. I got you. I got you, fam. Yeah, yeah. And follow Ganja Girl 2004. Follow this person. This person is I follow this person. This person is based. So I got y'all. I got you. And I'll make sure to put this also in Rockfin too. So you guys can also take that picture and then save it onto your mobile devices. So whenever anybody tries to tell you about Hillary Clinton, about oh, we can't elect Trump again, then let them know, hey, Hillary Clinton's one of the reasons why we got Trump in the first place. Y'all keep the receipt, keep receipts, people. Keep receipts so you guys can shut people down. And then on top of it, I'm gonna put it all on y'all. Okay, let's do this too. This is to the Social Security. Um, the Social Security link to that article and that bullshit about Medicare too. So y'all guys can have that receipts as well. Because, I mean, we come across people who okay. Yeah. Yeah. I got you guys. I got you. Thank you so much, Notori. I appreciate it. Um, hang on. I'm looking for a particular. Okay. All right. Anytime, everybody. Anytime. Um. oh, thank you so much. Actually, one of my first, actually, my first official guest on my channel was Savvy. So that's going to be the one where it says a special guest on my channel. That one is actually Savvy was my first guest on my channel. So you're going to see her and take a look at my channel. Um, Savvy was a great guest, by the way. She is as good of a guest as she is an interviewer. I'll put it that way. So please make sure to check that out. Rockfin, it is free to join, but um, there are some Rockfin, there are some premium content. The JB show on Rockfin is typically premium, but it's free on YouTube, so you can watch it free on YouTube. But there's a lot of other stuff from RBN on Rockfin that is, that we put as free. On my channel, I put, a few as premium content on Rockfin, but if you just want to watch it free, you can just watch it on YouTube. Either or. But the thing is that the whole premise behind it is as far as Rockfin goes, there's no commercials, things like that. So uh, you know, as far as, the labor that we do, uh, you know, we think it's fair that, we get some compensation for our labor. So we have some premium content on Rockfin as well, but it's not all premium. So just to let you guys know. Says what happened to RBN audio? Learn to use compression plugin or something to put down the peaks. You work my eardrums many times. Yeah, we don't have the money for it. I mean, we're completely grassroots. Like, we don't have producers and stuff like that. We are our own producers and stuff. So for right now, we'll try to mitigate that as much as possible. But like, for instance, this is my microphone. Like, this $20 pair of headphones, that's all I have. I don't have anything else. Like, I literally would have to raise money for a professional microphone. I don't have it. I just, we're still broke people, you know. So I mean, yeah, but I hope to be able to improve on that. But hopefully it will happen in the near future. But I appreciate the constructive criticism, much appreciated. But yeah, so I want you guys to continue to. Um, oh yeah, you can also contribute to our Patreon. We also have a Patreon too. Thank you so much, Lee, for that. But if you guys can continue to leave the world better than you found it, and smoke them if you got them, drink them if you got them, whatever. Oh, before I go, also, I will be doing Dirty Truths by Michael Parenti, another reading again soon on my channel, as well as Rockfin exclusively because it's a little spicy. I'm also going to be continuing my reading of Blood in My Eye by George Jackson as well. This book is fire too. I'm going to be continuing that on my channel, so I can't wait for you guys to be able to watch it. So be sure to tune in. Yeah, and what the hell? Forehead kisses to all of you. I love you. I love all of you, and you, and you, and you too. You in the little corner, I love you too. All right.